Good morning, everybody. It's another beautiful day for a wedding, and we actually have two weddings, but you're coming along with my wedding. Ashley is working the other wedding. It's like I'm already sweating. It's only 8 in the morning because, I mean, honestly, loading all of this stuff in, it surprises you how heavy it can get, and it's a lot of labor, so I'm already trying to dry off my sweat, even though I know it's going to come back. But that's what I always have my extra makeup touch-ups before the ceremony, because you just never know how sweaty you're gonna get before this is all done. But obviously I always start off, I get an extra shot of espresso and a coffee because I am working about a 12 to 16 hour day today, so any extra juice will help me continue trucking along. And then when that runs out, I always pack a little Monster Energy drink to keep my pep and my step going. So come along the back scenes of another wedding, and this is going to be a beautiful day. Okay guys, so we're back at the Sterling. You know the deal. We're gonna start writing our bride and groom's name on the arrow that points to the right venue. So you should know by now that my first and foremost project is going to be placing all of the tablecloths on the tables. That way I can see what all I need to do when it comes to all of the place settings, the centerpieces, and moving the tables around. This is by far the most time consuming part, especially when you have a larger party, to make sure everything can squeeze and fit in the right areas, and I have to make notes of what I'm going to have to move out later when it's time to open up the garage doors and spread out the tables a little further into the ceremony space that becomes the dance hall. Here is our morning. We're having our rehearsal the day of the morning of the wedding, which isn't normal, but we were able to make it work. Everyone followed directions and they got right back upstairs and started getting ready while I continued working on the table placements. You can see that I'm going around and everything's kind of coming together. The look is starting to be created, and I actually had awesome help from the groom and the groomsmen. It was really nice that they stepped in and asked if I could have anything or any help, and of course I'm gonna say yes. So I asked if they could place the plates onto my charger plates, and then when they were ready we could start putting the cups and the flatware onto the table, kind of showing them exactly how we need to do it first, and they copied the look all the way around. Here we have our photographer. We're chatting details about the setup, the look, and she went off to work getting everything prepped for some detail shots while I touched base with the bridal party, having questions, and started setting up our candle decor. Here's how it looks and the process of creating it. Our golden arch is actually a relatively quick setup. It's pretty easy to do with just one person. You can see that I'm working on it myself. Typically we like for the legs to be left alone. You can see I'm trying to work on putting those pieces together, but if people keep those pieces together, we're able to get the setup. Look how much faster it goes because all the round pieces are placed in the exact right spot. Tip and the trick is to make sure you remember to grab your step ladder, but I did not, so I improvised, and here we go, the final look. Now that I'm officially done with most of my setup, I'm going upstairs to check on the photography and make sure they don't need anything. In the meantime, if they're all good, I'm going to go back down and use glass cleaner to start cleaning every single one of these cylinders so they sparkle and shine for your big day. After placing the cake onto the cake stand, we are officially ready, and here is the final look. Our gorgeous floral backdrop is perfect to make a statement piece behind the bride and the groom's table. And the florist had come by and dropped off the little touches of florals. Here's the final look on the cake table. Don't forget that we always make sure to have extra plates and flatware for our bride and groom when they've cut their cake. They sometimes forget that they do need a plate and they need some silverware and some napkins. Don't worry though, I got you covered. Here is how the front looks, and we've got everything ready for the guests to enter in. At this point, all I need to do is keep a track of the arrival time frames and make sure that if anything is needed, they can contact me. Just a little reminder that while I've been doing this, here is what you girls get to be doing. Enjoying your day, getting your photos, drinking your mimosas, and preparing for the first look. Here it is. And of course, we can't forget Dad. Now that first looks are over, we're going to go ahead and start doing bridal party pictures. In the meantime, I'm going to start setting up and getting everything prepped for the DJ who's on site now, and keeping my eyes open for the selfie booth as well. I'm always just on the outside watching, making sure that your photographers don't need anything from me during these parts, but I'm also staying closer to the venue to be sure I'm there on site in case any of the other vendors arrive or have questions. Example A, you see me running up the stairs because we needed bouquets for all of the bridal party girls, including the bride herself for the photos. So I'm running into the bridal suite and grabbing all of their bouquets to carry them outside where the photographer is. And voila, fixed. Also, if you got a headache, I got you. Don't worry, I'm going to take care of everything you need with my bridal emergency kit. Ibuprofen, here we come. While you guys are getting sat, our bride and groom were actually getting to enjoy themselves upstairs. For the most part, I am staying below to make sure that everyone goes ahead and finds a seat. A lot of times people stand around and we really want them to go ahead and get closer to a place they're going to be sitting at. That way we can get started on time. But I'm also going upstairs and double checking to make sure everyone else is doing good. Do you have the rings? Do you have everything you need? Do you feel like you want to start 5 minutes late? How are you feeling about everything? And then another going upstairs, are we ready to go? And if I get the A-OK, then that's when we start. And I let the DJ know by coming back down and giving him the cue that we are ready to begin. Now that the cue has been given and everyone is ready to go, I'm standing on a sideline giving people cues. You can see that I moved over because the bridal party was on the upper level and they needed help to see me. And then I went back over again to fluff the dress as she walked down the aisle. And I'm sneaking in a few pictures while standing in the background. As soon as the I do's are done, everyone claps, the bridal party gets to go to the back to start their post-ceremony photos, and the chaos begins for me. This is the beginning of cocktail hour when I start spreading out tables, asking people to go inside a little bit further so I can scoot the tables a little bit further away and give everybody more space. Then the area you were getting married becomes a dance floor, and I pick up all the extra chairs to move to the bridal party tables, and also capturing a little bit of a selfie with a selfie mirror from Elevate. During this time, I suggest not to let your guests eat, because if you let your guests eat before you, there's a likelihood that you might run out of food if you don't have servers serving it, because people will always get more portions if they self-serve, or you won't even have a chance to eat because you have to start entertaining everybody right away. From your wedding coordinator, your professional experience is your guests can wait an hour so you can get these gorgeous photos seen right here. They came here to celebrate you, and that's what we are going to do. So if it happens to run late, that's great. But a pro tip is, if you're worried about it, to go ahead and get some snacks like a charcuterie board or Chex Mix or something for your guests to be able to enjoy and snack on while they're doing their bartending. But right now they do have the open bar happening. Here I am saying hi in the mirror. And we have the selfie booth going on and the DJ's inside. So there's plenty of things to entertain your guests, and you have to sacrifice the time that you would have gotten to eat. And here I am just checking on the timeline, and if you have activities like this going on, people are utilizing it and they're having a great time. Typically your photos after ceremony, especially if you've done first look, is only about an hour long, if that. And of course, we cannot forget the handy dandy emergency kit pen for signing your marriage license. All of this happens right afterwards during cocktail hour, and 9 times out of 10 people do forget to grab a pen, but don't worry, I got you. That's what I'm here for.
It is now time for the grand entrance, so please find your seats.
Before we do the grand entrance, we're going to make sure that all of your vendors who need to capture the moment are ready, and that's when the DJ has the cue to go ahead and start. We also know that you are ready, but here is a fun moment that you can choose to do something fun, or you can just walk in with your partner. They announce you in by name and you are placed in a certain area. Each venue is different as to how you want to go in. If you end up ordering food but you don't have people to staff it, this is when I try to rush over and start unpackaging all of the food. We have it placed relatively where it needs to be. We just need to open up the tops to allow for people to start serving themselves. Here you can see all of us vendors are getting in some food because the only time we can eat is when you guys are eating, which means the bridal party. Sometimes, if specified, the bride and the groom get to play games. This one's pretty fun. And then we went into the toasts after everyone has gotten a plate. First is the maid of honor this time around, and then we go to the best man. And sometimes after the best man does his speech, the groom decides to make a speech or another family member. Afterwards, we're going to go ahead and go into the cake cutting. Usually I pre-chat with the bride and the groom about how to do the cake cutting just in case they have any questions, but I'm right there on the sidelines just in case you need me. And now it's time to go into the first dances. First we have our beautiful bride and our groom. Then we have our bride and her father. And the groom and his mother. Pro tip from your wedding coordinator, try to chat with the DJs to make sure that they don't call it a grand exit or make it weird by saying, we're doing a fake grand exit. Here is my pro tip. Just let your photographers and your DJ say, we are going to have a photo moment outside with sparklers. We're going to let their love sparkle, be a part of this wonderful moment outside, and we will come back in and continue dancing. It's way less awkward. You get that beautiful look, and it's not like we're pretending to leave, but you get those photos that you're really wanting. Sometimes when you say let's have a fake grand exit, people actually think it's time to go, but instead, my pro tip is just say, join us outside for a sparkler moment for photography, or join us outside to be a participant in our photography moment with our guests. Every wedding timeline is different, but now that a lot of the things are completed, I'm just kind of grabbing some of the items that need to be placed away and making some piles for me to go to later. But don't worry, no one notices because everyone's out on the dance floor at this point and nobody's even eating anymore. So this is just how I stay on task and on time to get out because there's so much to do with so little time to do it and only 2 hands doing it. So while you're doing this, I'm doing some of the nitty-gritty work in the back and you guys are just enjoying your time. This wedding had a lot of our rentals, so I'm just grabbing all of our things. We do also put away other people's rentals that you rent from different places, and we find out how they're supposed to be placed back into their spots, but we do not transport those rentals. We just organize it for you to be able to transport. But if it's our items, we're able to start putting them away. We pack them up, we put them into the van, and we bring them back at no additional charge. This right here actually belongs to the bride and groom, so I'm collecting them off of each table. The faster I can clear these tables, the faster I can see if there's any damages I need to spray down and make sure that our table linens don't have damages on them. Here is the chaos aftermath of everything collected onto one table. And slowly but surely everything starts to get put away, counted to be sure I don't miss anything, and you can tell that nobody's even noticing that I'm doing this in the background. This is part of why you want a wedding coordinator, because we're able to get a lot of those things done. And of course the groom being so nice and the bride stopped by and chatted with me for a little bit. They're just amazing. I've just really enjoyed working for them. And while I'm doing that, I'm just making sure to grab everything I can to pack it away while also having good conversation with people that are walking by me. Now that I've gotten that accomplished, I'm going to be walking around looking at tablecloths. So you can kind of see I'm surveying them to see if there's any that need to be sprayed down, and it looks like I might be walking into one right now. But over here is a trash can. I'm just putting all of the trash off the tables, and of course I'm going to get out there and dance with you guys. That's what I'm here for. I love to dance, but in the meantime I'm going to dance and I'm going to clean. I ended up not getting any other footage because this was a larger party, and my priority is making sure that we get out on the time that we are required to. So I was very busy putting down the flower wall in the back and getting this set down too, and then it was just cleaning up trash. So if this is something that you think would help you on your big day, definitely call us or text us.